Hi, my name is Julie Edwards, and this is the first in a series of videos to help you to make your assignments or reports on Word. We will start with some of the basics because once you master these, it really does get easier to build on strong foundations. So let's have a look at some of the content for this lesson. We will first set up a basic cover page, insert headers, insert footers, and page numbers. But before we start, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon to make sure that you are kept up to date with the latest videos. This is the first in a weekly series, so don't miss out. Thanks a lot. Okay, to start with this tutorial, what we're going to do is actually open up a blank document in Word. Now, you may have noticed that I'm actually using a Mac. But the PC and the Mac, for the basic components that I'm going to show you, these tools, they're actually not too different. So most people can figure out where we're going with it, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So let's have a look. What we're going to do today, as I mentioned, was first of all start with this blank page for our front cover. Now on the front cover, what most people need is to have their name, and we'll just type their name, whoops, spell my own name properly, and the title, which we will call my project for the purpose of this activity, and the date. And I'll just write 1st of July 2020. Now please note, I do write my dates in full, and that's because if you're working with different countries and they write their dates a little bit differently, so say for instance in Australia and the UK, we write ours as the 1st of July 2020. However, if we were in America, we would be reading this as January the 7th, 2020. So you can see that that can cause a problem. So just to make sure that doesn't happen with a misunderstanding with dates, it's always a good idea to put the date in full. Now the other thing that you can do with this is you can actually highlight and you can move it to the center, you can move it to the right, to the left, you can tab down, etc. However, if you wanted to have it slightly off center, or you want to have it sort of over here, then that can be a little bit difficult. So the easiest way to do this is just to put it into a text box, and then you can move it around. So I'll show you that. I'm using Command X, I think it's Control X on a PC, and I will give you some shortcuts. I'll give you a whole list of shortcuts that you can use on your computer. They'll be underneath this video. All you need to do is click and you'll be able to get the PDF. Okay, but back to this, let's insert this text box. So first of all, insert text box, draw a text box, and I'll make a nice big text box here, and we will insert this. Now what I want to do is just shrink this box a little bit, it's a bit too big, and I'm going to change the size. Now you can see here there are a number of features you can use. However, we are doing the introduction, so I'm going to go back and do this manually. I'm going to highlight like this and click 16 font size, which is quite large. To make this a little bit bigger, all you have to do is drag any of these. Okay, you can move them around. Now what we'd also want to do is I just want to line this up, so I'm just going to tab across just to make it look a little bit tidier, and I'm going to bold my headings. Again, you can color these to different colors, etc. Okay, so if you wanted yours to be blue, you can just click and you can select your colors. Okay, I'm just going to keep it black for this one. Okay, I am going to save this information for later, so I'm just going to copy this because I'll be using it in a moment. Now what you can do, as I said before, is you can move this and drag it to where you want. Okay, so if your rules were you wanted it slightly off center because you were putting an image here, you can do that by moving the text box. But we are just going to keep it here a little bit further down for this one. Okay, now to go on to the next page, I want you to insert and insert a page break. And what that does is it means that any information here that you add, this next page will always start at the top. This will make more sense as we go on. Okay, to go into the header, yes, there are buttons up here you can use, but all you need to do is double click. And again, I'm showing you how to do this from basic so that you can start playing with those other tools later, and we will do that in other videos. But for now, I'm just going to copy that in, and that's too large, so we're going to drop the size back. Go back to home, and we're going to drop it to an 11. I like to have a border underneath mine. I like to have a line across that separates the header from the content. So what I do is I leave my cursor here and I just put a little border underneath, and I can put a space so there's a bit more room between the line if you want. You can do that. Okay, to go out, you double click. We're now going to go down to the bottom and we're going to insert a page number. Again, I just double clicked. You can do it using the header footer tabs, but we're just keeping this very simple, and we're going to insert a page number. So we use page number, or we can insert page number. Okay, we click. And what this does is it shows where the actual number will sit on the page. It will either sit over on the right, it can sit in the center, or we can move it to the left. Now, most people tend to look for a page number on a report on the center or the right of the page. I'm going to put this on the right and leave it there. Okay, now one of the things I want to look at is just the formatting side. So on the cover page, it now says number 1, and we have the header. I don't want to see the header or the footer on my cover page. So all I need to do, I'm going to go back to this number, and on the page number, this little box here needs to be unticked or unchecked. Take it out. So now it won't show the number on the first page. We'll click OK. We'll go back and have a look, and you'll see the page number is no longer on the first page, on the cover page, and the header has also been removed, which is what we want. Okay. The other thing is, I don't want my document to start at page 2. I want it to start at page 1. So I can go to page number again, format page numbers, and here I can say start at 0. And what that will do, start at 0, what that will do is it will actually tell the computer that I want this to be page 1, because the original first page, I'll show you. Click OK. This is our original first page, and now this has become page 1. And I want that because I want this to be my cover, not to be included in any table of contents or to be shown up anywhere. I just want to know that this is my first page, and that's the way it will look. Okay, that's all we need to do for today. I want you to have a look at that and see how you go. But let's see if you can create a document with a line, a header, and your name, title and date. What I do say too is save the document. I tend to save mine with my name, what the document is, and the date. If it's a third version on the same day, I might put V3 or V2 if it's version 2. For this one, we're just going to leave it as this. Now I'm just going to show you my desktop. So save that into a file, into a folder. This is my desktop. As you can see, I don't have it crowded with documents. Okay, the only folder I have on this front page is my training images that I'm using for this tutorial, but everything else goes into a file. A folder, sorry, I keep missing that folder. So when you save into a folder, and you don't just leave everything on that desktop. So keep your desktop nice and clean. Imagine it as your desk, and you want to come back to work and have a look at your desk at work or in your office as being nice and tidy. It helps get organized. It just makes you feel like you're organized. So I do the same with my laptop. Keep it nice and clean, and that way when I start work, it's fresh. So when you finish this document, don't forget, save it into a folder. You can call the folder training documents, something like that, and then start adding these documents as we build them up through each session. Okay, so I'll click Save. Thank you for joining me. It's now time for you to practice what you've been learning in this lesson. And remember, practice makes perfect, so keep on practicing. And don't forget, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that way, if you click the bell, you'll ensure that you're notified as soon as I add another video to the channel. Thanks a lot and have a great day.